Right, so you're pushing the importance of wearing a mask once you actually are confirmed to have coronavirus, but it seems health experts are saying you should wear it even if you do not. Do you agree with that then, to protect yourself?
There are an awful lot of people that think it's the great thing to do all the time, but I can't help but think that if I hadn't been wearing a mask so much in the last 10 days or so, I really wonder if I would have gotten it. But I know, moving the mask around, getting it just right, I'm bound to put some virus on the mask that I sucked in. That's most likely what happened.
You might think that when Republican stupidity puts their own life at risk, that might be the catalyst they need to finally wake up and accept science. But nope, apparently Louie Gohmert used his positive coronavirus test to yet again cast doubt on the efficacy of wearing masks. Because apparently it's not enough to endanger himself, now he has to try and endanger everyone else too. And if you thought the Texas Republicans' dangerous tactics stopped with this video, yeah, you'd be wrong. Because when Gohmert found out that he tested positive, he went to tell his staff in person that he was infected. So not only can they find out right from the source, but they can contract it from there too. Imagine having so little regard for reality that you would put your own staff's life at risk. I'm not one to say who should or shouldn't work anywhere, but just fair warning, if you want to work for a Republican congressman from a state responding among the worst in the world to the coronavirus outbreak, who thinks that state is doing a good job and that in fact masks are the problem, well then you should probably be prepared to face some increased risks. And by the way, that wasn't lost on his staff. According to NBC's Jake Sherman, after NBC reported that Gohmert tested positive, an aide emailed him and wrote, "Jake, thank you for letting our office know Louie tested positive for the coronavirus. When you write your story, can you include the fact that Louie requires full staff to be in the office, including 3 interns, so that we could be an example to America on how to open up safely. When probing the office, you might want to ask how often were people berated for wearing masks." And that was from his own staff. Who'd have guessed that there would be such little appetite for people not wanting to die? This is the same guy, by the way, who only a couple of months ago bragged about not having to wear a mask and even suggested that members of the media would be the dangerous ones.
And I do want to advise our media friends before they write stories about how we didn't wear masks and we didn't possibly socially distance adequately, that you saw to it that we had tests and that nobody in here has the coronavirus unless it's somebody in the media. So the only reason we would wear masks is if we were trying to protect ourselves from you in the media, and we're not scared of you. So,
although in our defense, we probably should have expected the guy bragging about not needing to wear a mask to be the person who ultimately catches the virus. And it's not just this one Republican lawmaker. As recently as yesterday, Republicans mocked Chairman Nadler when he demanded that they wear their masks during the hearing with Bill Barr.
The gentleman yields back. I would remind Mr. Jordan, Mr. Biggs, and Mr. Johnson to stop violating the rules of the committee, to stop violating the safety of the members of the committee, to stop holding themselves out as not caring by refusing to wear their masks.
Is it permissible to drink a sip of coffee?
It is not permissible.
Not to drink. We can't drink coffee in the room.
Now. I'm getting ready to ask a question. And I will.
Mr. Gates is recognized.
No. He went.
He went, and that's why I took off my mask, Mr. Chairman.
It's my turn. I'm going to go.
So that we're clear, Louie Gohmert was present at that hearing, while the rest of his party derided Nadler's efforts to save their own lives. You gotta wonder if Jim Jordan and the rest of the GOP bothered thanking Jerry Nadler given these new developments. And why is this all happening? Because Trump had unilaterally decided that masks were a sign of weakness. And so because the GOP is incapable of original thought, they blindly followed suit. And they all played along in Trump's game to politicize mask wearing. Even though, as an incumbent defending the White House, Trump actually stands to benefit most from ending the pandemic. But because he doesn't know how to look more than 2 inches beyond his face, he all but ensured that half of the country would refuse to wear masks, thereby prolonging the very pandemic that has crippled him in the polls. I haven't read Art of the Deal, but I'm sure the self-sabotage chapter is pretty entertaining. And because apparently full-grown adults on the right don't know how to take measures to protect their own lives, Speaker Pelosi has now mandated that masks be worn at all times on the House floor. This could and likely should go further, requiring anyone inside any federal building to be wearing masks, not just on the House floor. But until that rule is enacted, I would just suggest that anyone working for a Republican in Washington, D.C. and around the country to think long and hard whether it's worth it to put your own life at risk for a party willfully bucking science in their blind deference to a president who just went on TV bragging that he can identify an elephant. Take all the time you need with that one. And don't forget to listen to my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I'll take a deep dive into the biggest issues of the week and interview major players in the world of politics, like Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Beto O'Rourke, Eric Swalwell, Katie Porter, and many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.